Hi guys, it's me. Um, Gosh, I've done this post so many times and been interrupted so many times. It's kind of ridiculous. Um, as you can see, I probably don't look it, but I'm doing 10 times better. Yesterday I got so much done, it actually boggled my mind. Um, it was only when I stopped to think about it later I went, wow, I did a, a lot. I actually caught up on a lot of things. So, house is a little bit cleaner. I'm feeling better. And I'm in the mood to get back into writing because of it. Um, that's always seems to be the way it goes. I have to get so much stuff out of the way before the muse will even talk to me again. It's not so much we have ideas, is that I've got the itch. And you guys know how much, I love having that itch to actually write again. 2012 was one of my most productive years. It was also one of my most frustrating ones. The last 4 months alone, I had so many projects pile up on me, but me and the muse got into arguments on what we were going to work on, or if we were going to work on anything. It seems that whenever I am not working, she and I have arguments, and she doesn't want to work for me. But I'm getting the itch, and Who contest has a drabble that's due in less than 24 hours. And some of you guys know that's me all over, down to the wire. Some of my best work seems to be produced, with a deadline that I generally didn't think about looming overhead right now. I also have a fiction that I owe at Who at 50, 3 days ago now, and I kind of need to get that done. But it's just convincing the muse one at a time. Yeah. Whenever we have had arguments and she's been around to argue, that's been the biggest thing, is that she wants to work on 50 million things at once, and I know that's not even possible. So, hoping to get back into writing. I do have something that I did post a couple of weeks ago, before I went so and got so ill that I need to actually post on my Livejournal and put on AO3 and FF.net. But I'm probably going to try to produce several fictions at once, and that'll be in the line of posting. In other news, yes, I actually have something to yatter at you about. I've been thinking about it off and on for a couple of months, and my husband and I have actually sat down and discussed it within the last couple of days, and Mandy wants to go to college. This is not returning to college. Believe it or not, I have never been. I know I've probably mentioned this before, but yeah, I've never been to college. I got my GED, and I was told at the time by the lady who was running the test that I needed to go get a scholarship, and I was like, but I work for a living. But hubby's working. I'm trying to find him something with better hours and more pay, but he's working, and he's actually happy to be working. I'm not working, but to selfishly help myself with my writing and with keeping me from going stark raving crazy, I need to have something to do. And I'm thinking that going to college is going to be one of my best bets. Never been. I have tons of useless information crammed up in here, but, I just absorb that from wherever I can. It's intimidating. It has been a long time since I've been in a classroom, and I have such a distinct fear of failure that, yeah, you love that Freudian slip, feel of failure. I fear failure so much that 9 times out of 10, I wind up not doing something at all, just because I don't want to do poorly at it. This is something that obviously I need to work on. I didn't do any resolutions this year. That probably should have been one of them. But it's been a long time since I've been in school. Um, and I do not want to disappoint myself or others. My main sticking point, though, is I'm 35 years old, and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. No, I haven't grown up yet. I act like a grown up a lot, which, is meh. But, I still haven't completely grown up. So I have no idea what I want to be. And they generally want to know that. I do know that I don't want to do anything with writing. And I try to make sure my hobbies never become a job. And making writing into a job would take it out of the hobby category and make it something that I sweat and pull my hair out over because there's a paycheck at the end of it, which makes it decidedly less fun. Maybe one day I'll write a novel, guys. Maybe. But I don't want that. I don't like hobbies and jobs mixing. Now, I did audit for 12, 14 years, and I enjoyed it. There was a paycheck, there were definite deadlines, and there were a lot of things that I didn't have the leeway to do. So that kind of, it was a job. The problem with taking writing and putting it into a job is not only is there somebody else messing with your work and rearranging it as they see fit, which I can't handle. It's the reason why I didn't get betas for years. So many horror stories of betas literally rewriting your work, and I'm like, okay, that's not what I want. And then, of course, there's a deadline you have to meet if you want to get paid. So I do know that whatever I pick, writing will not be in it. I just don't know what I'd pick. Well, along those lines of things that Mandy wants to do, besides go to college, if I can ever figure out exactly, I don't know, maybe become a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon. So amongst college, as listed as one of the things that Mandy wants to do, Mandy is still obsessed with voice acting. Yes, I've always been interested in acting. A lot of you guys know that. And some of you are probably rolling your eyes going, oh my God, here she goes again about voice acting. Well, I have come to the realization that though I did modeling when I was 15 years old, I've never been exactly what they've been looking for. And I got into modeling specifically because I wanted to get into acting. There were several years there where I was at the right time, wrong place, which means the opportunities passed me by and I had absolutely no idea because I wasn't there for them. Tori, you know all about this. I know it still makes you mad. Yeah, my mother basically couldn't pick up a phone and tell me that L'Oreal and casting agents were calling for me specifically. Yeah, thanks, Mom. But, I have a few more years beneath my belt. And, we do not live in Britain. Here, prettiness and the ability to chew up and spit out lines is the main goal. Welcome to America. Talent is kind of an afterthought. And I don't even know if I have any talent. But I do know I've had a lot of people, and this is what's really gotten the obsession rolling. I've always loved Kit. Of course, I love cartoons. I've just always loved cartoons. Not into anime so much, but I love cartoons. And I love narrators of stories. I like the guy who does the voiceovers for your movie trailers. And I love the fact it's practically always the same guy. And for a recent example, Jarvis from Iron Man and the Avengers. I love Jarvis. A lot of people probably don't think about Jarvis, but Tony Stark would be really, really lost without Jarvis. And he's just such an interesting voice, and he's such an interesting and rich character for somebody you never see. So, voiceover acting has definitely been one of the top things. And my husband and I were discussing it, and I'm like, there's so many actors and voiceover actors and musicians and so many other talents that come from Louisville. I just can't figure out how they did it. I don't even know where to start. I've always had a fear of looking in the newspaper and finding casting, because you hear so many horror stories of showing up and it's either a snuff film or a porno and you just didn't know that. So, you know, I've got a fear of showing up to cattle calls. My husband's like, well, best way to do it, start at the top of the yellow pages for talent agencies and work your way down. Do you know anything about voiceovers? No? Click. Do you know anything about voiceovers? No? Click. He was like, you'll probably have an agent before you even have a job. And I'm like, well, that's usually the way it works anyway. But I've always loved the voiceover aspect. And I remembered when the interest actually kicked in when I realized, okay, yeah, I'll probably never be on a screen where somebody can actually see this mug. But my interest for acting became renewed when Under the Red Hood came out. And it's because of Jensen Ackles and his fantastic voice. And he just seemed to enjoy himself so much. And I was like, that's so interesting. And, you know, I wonder if that's something I can do. I've learned since then that voice acting world's even more insular and incestuous than your regular acting world. They are very, very much a contingent that wants to keep voice acting for voice actors. They're highly resentful of actors stepping in and actually doing voices. They're highly resentful of anybody stepping in their world, basically taking their jobs away from them. So, I mean, it's going to be twice as hard to actually get into it, even if I do manage to wedge my foot in the door. But it's something I want to try. As I said, you know, the backup characters, secondary characters have always interested me, and voiceover acting has a lot to do with that. And when you have people coming up to you and going, you know, you've got a fantastic voice, we would love to see it, you know, your name in credits for a cartoon or something like that. I've had this happen a couple of times in the last couple of years. So that only re-sparks the interest. I've learned to never ignore a coincidence because they don't really exist. That's how I got into paganism. After studying so many religions, you get smacked in the face with it a couple of times, you're going to start paying attention. And there are just so many people going, you know, voiceover acting, podficking at me. So I'm definitely paying attention, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. Getting my foot in the door, though, is probably going to take me a little bit. Hopefully I won't be dead before I actually, you know, get paid to play somebody else on a camera with a script in front of me, which is the bonus. Because with regular acting, I've discovered that I have some type of block where I can either be the character or I can do the lines. I have many blocks on me. Most of them are self-imposed. But I'm going to be looking into these things. I'm going to start at the top, talent agencies, work my way down. And I'm going to try to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And then figure out how I can go about getting back into college, considering I don't have the first clue. A lot of you probably think of me as intelligent. I actually know better. But that's neither here nor there. I have got a hungry littlest bitty that probably wants a peanut butter sandwich. It's always peanut butter sandwiches. And I have a instant message waiting for me to reply to it. Hi, Laura. So I had probably better do that. Yes, I've once again wasted way too much time of your time talking about inane things. So I'll leave it at this. Be good to each other. Take care of each other. And know that, that I adore each and every one of you. Until I see you. Have a great day, guys.